visuals coming from the Vatican, and I thought, I could never be a pope. Well, besides the fact that I'm a woman, but I was like, I could never be a pope. Imagine you get the biggest promotion of your career, one of the rarest jobs in the world, and then you have to stand there on the Vatican balcony and be all humble. And be all humble and pope-like. It could never be me. Let's take a quick pause and then we come back on the other side of this.
Do you want an experience of a lifetime? Where every day is filled with challenges of providing Lisa Vanderpump curated experiences while dealing with rivalries, romances, and misadventures. It's drama at Vanderpump's French Estate. Chantel, Rosabelle, and the staff can't wait to give you a front row seat to all the drama. Catch Vanderpump Villa, Saturdays on S3 at 8:30 p.m. S3 open up. S3.
It takes a while before these arch rivals meet in the final. But when they do, everything stops. Nabi is confident to delight the Amakosi fans.
If the fans love Kaiser Chiefs, automatically is love Nabi.
While the back-to-back victor, Rivero, chases the third consecutive title.
Whenever it's time to go, we're going with the intention to be competitive, to try to be better than the opponent.
This is the Nedbank Cup final. Witness the Soweto Derby. Golden Black battles it out with Black and White on Saturday, 10 May at 2:30 p.m. Streaming live on SABC Plus and SABC One. Then on SABC radio stations at 3:30 p.m. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
For the love of the game.
The Full Circle with Bridget Masinga, Monday to Friday, 1 to 3 p.m.
All right, it is the Full Circle with myself, Bridget Masinga, on SAFM, and we are catching up to a young lady who needs no introduction whatsoever, media personality and mom. Nandi Madida joins us. She's just recently launched the Motherhood Network. It's a brand new platform, a podcast platform and a movement, and she'll tell us all about it. But hey, I want to say firstly, Happy Mother's Day in advance for this coming Sunday.
Thank you so much. But I'll tell you why I'm laughing, Bridge. I love how you said young lady. I said, when last? I'm no longer even ANC youth. But yes. How are you? Thank you so much. Yes, thank you so much for those wishes.
No, listen, even when I said it, I was like, well, I mean, Nandi's younger than you. She's
young,
how have you been?
Young and hot. I'm so good. I have no complaints, and I'm so sorry I couldn't make it. My main reason is because I'm being a mom. You know, this is the time you pick up kids and you're running around and preparing stuff. So there you go. Isn't that testament to the Motherhood Network? That's what it's all about.
Absolutely. I understand completely. Absolutely.
Yes.
Next time we'll have you in studio.
Please, yes.
Before we even get to the Motherhood Network, I actually just want to, I was saying, talking to you, a woman in your own right, a successful media personality in your own right, part of one half of a power entertainment dynamic, married to the incredible Zakes Bantwini, love Zakes. And I was wondering, and I'm going to repeat young again.
Yeah.
As a young couple, young parents, let's talk about this journey. How has it been for you having kids, given the context of what you do for a living, given the context of who you are, you and Zakes having this very, very young family, because your baby's also relatively young, still preschoolers.
Yeah, well, no, time flies, eh? They're not actually so young. And that's in my case, because we have a beautiful blended family. But in my case, yes, I am young mother. I've got a youngest, young. My son is 9 years old, and my daughter, so I don't know if you It's cut off there.
No, I can hear you.
You can hear me?
Yes.
All right, fantastic. And my daughter's 6 years old. And so, what's been really surprising just from a parenting style perspective, I'm actually very strict. Well, not very strict, but definitely the most strict parent. And that surprised me. And I'm not letting go. I actually quite like the consequences, the boundaries, the structure. And I just realized also that I think it's needed now more than ever. Of course, being intentional about your parenting and not necessarily encouraging being a permissive parent, being a gentle parent.
Yeah.
If anything, I think that's what the youth actually seeking for and wanting is more structure and boundaries and consequences. So I'm that kind of parent, and I just love it. It's like the star charts. It's ensuring you have chores. I'm so big on chores. Yeah. And I think just because you just become a better human being as well. So I quite surprised myself that I'm not I have fun. They know me as a fun auntie.
Yes.
And those who, and my kids as well know the fun side to motherhood. But I think we're at a time where a lot of parents think parenting is just letting kids do whatever they want to do. And so what you're finding is that there's a lot of lack of respect or resilience or ambition. And so, I think we just need to be more intentional about our parenting. So I'm that parent.
Absolutely. I want to ask my producers to quickly just switch your line a little bit, and then we'll come back on the other side and continue our conversation. We are in conversation with media personality and mother Nandi Madida. Let's take a quick pause here. It's just gone 20 past 1 o'clock. We're going to take a quick pause, and then we'll come back on the other side and continue.
Every person, no matter who you are, what music you're inclined to listen to, and what you do with your weekends. You need a weekend playlist.
When I started out, it was just a matter of seeing you every day. One day I'll reach it.
It's that musical mix of music that accompanies the lazy weekends, whether catching up with friends and family or just taking some time to reflect. Tune in to The Soundtrack of Your Life with me, Ernest Pillay, Saturdays and Sundays, 1 to 4 on SAFM.
SAFM music, crafted to make you feel real good.
As the night moves in,
Handpicked just for your pleasure.
Only too tight to measure.
Classics sounding so good only on SAFM. You're listening to Bridget Masinga on SAFM.
It's fine. It is the Full Circle with myself, Bridget Masinga on SAFM. Taking things nice and easy on this fine Friday. I hope you're having a great Friday wherever you are as well. I know that obviously the Catholic Church community are in a celebratory mood today, ushering in a brand new Pope. With well wishes coming through from every corner of the world. So we thought we'd acknowledge that. And my colleagues on either side of the clock definitely carrying out that conversation and walking you through some of the processes as well that haven't transpired over the last couple of days. From our side, as always on a Friday, we focus more on arts and culture. And of course, fun, fabulous conversations with the friends of the show. And today is absolutely no different as we have a conversation with a media personality, Nandi Madida. And then on the other side, we're also going to catch up with the National Arts Festival, the artistic director of the National Arts Festival, and find out what is on the calendar for 2025. We are also streaming the show. If you want to catch the live stream, you're more than welcome to. All right, we've got Nandi back on the line. Much better. It's so interesting to learn that you are the stricter of the two, and some of your. Do you find a middle ground between how you were parented and how you are parenting now. Is there middle ground to that?
Oh yes, 100%. And I think that's you're from Durban, I'm from Durban, so that's definitely the Zulu side that I was talking about, the strict side. And that's definitely from my parents who are, idea boomers.
Yes.
But, of course you can benchmark and almost corroborate with whatever you grew up with and know. Something I always say about the boomer generation, as much as people now kind of criticize that generation, something that is beautiful is the fact that they were so diligent and hardworking. I don't think there's like a harder working generation, Whereas with the other generations that kind of have come after them, the hard work is not really there. So I definitely have taken that, from the previous generation. And then, of course, we learn many things along the way, like your gentle parenting, where it's more talking than hitting or doing whatever the case may be,
Yeah.
But I think the beautiful experience of being a parent is, first of all, making sure that you are healed. That's so important, and having a mirror in your face and just saying how best you can be a parent, and learning any weaknesses and saying, because what you don't want to do in any way is have your parenting or parenting style rather impacts your kids negatively. You want them to be confident kids, and that they should know they are enough in any situation, whether they're failing, whether they're succeeding, whatever the case may be. And I think that's the most important thing, that my children know that. But why I emphasized on the other side was, I think in our time, and I think us millennials, sometimes we feel a bit guilty rather when it comes to disciplining our kids, because we come from that, and so what you're seeing now is sometimes a generation who is somewhat lost because there hasn't been that structure in a sense, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. I love what you say as well about, making sure you're healing. I came across a meme that spoke to a similar sentiment, to say that, a child's first point of hurt is an unhealed parent. And I think that's so important for us to hold mirrors to our faces and just try to work through our own stuff before becoming parents.
Absolutely. And that's the only way. And also just to account, because it takes a level of emotional intelligence to be able to account and say, look, I'm not perfect. What can I work on? And it doesn't stop abruptly. It's a continuous journey of learning, work on that, apologizing. We're the generation we've normalized saying sorry, which is okay. Just apologizing as well to our children when we do make mistakes or we do mess up. And that's so healthy as well, because then they're aware that you are human as well, and you too make mistakes. And so I think more than anything, it's beautiful to see that there's less ego-driven parenting happening, and I'm always aware of that, where it's less about us as the parents, but more about them finding themselves and who they are, and again, being whole, knowing that they are whole and they're enough. So that's what the platform, the Motherhood Lesson, is all about, is us trying to be the best mothers we can be. And it's so important. But also, funny enough, a lot of my closest friends are actually not moms. And they've been the most amazing aunt moms, I call them, ever. So this platform is not only necessarily for moms. Yes, it's dedicated to the mothers. But what I found so fascinating with the people just reviewing the content thus far, before it launches on Mother's Day, is that a lot of them who aren't moms have found it so interesting as well, and just are able to make a decision. If it's like, no, this motherhood thing is not for me, well, maybe I should try it. But if I do, go through this journey of being a mother, I have to do it this way. But I love that we're the generation that's generally more intentional about parenting and think about it, and are not wanting to pass on any traumas as well. So it's a beautiful, safe, unfiltered space.
Absolutely.
It's a platform you all deserve, everyone deserves.
Absolutely. Let's take a quick pause for the headline news, and then we'll come back and we'll continue with Nandi Madida.
Thanks, Bridget. Good afternoon. In the headlines this hour, the Police and Prisons Civil Rights Union, POPCRU, says it will approach the Parliament's Ethics Committee following the remarks of Chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Police, Ian Cameron. Limpopo police say the remains of a man who had been given pauper's burial at Mokopong Cemetery has been positively identified and handed over to the bereaved family. And further, filled Pope Leo XIV celebrating Mass with cardinals at the Vatican following his election yesterday. Details at 2.
Bridget Masinga, weekdays on The Full Circle.
We are hanging out with Nandi Madida, media personality and mom. You can follow her new platform, the Motherhood Network, on the handles at the Motherhood Network ZA. And we're definitely going to delve into some of those conversations that she's curated for you, having powerful conversations with the likes of businesswoman Basisani Kumalo, as well as Dr. Judy Dlamini, who was here last week, and a host of other...
Wow.
Yes, I mean, we do our part, Nandi.
Oh, yeah, I totally did. And sorry, just to interject a beautiful story about Mom Judy is that I grew up with her. As in, when I say I grew up with her, my father, rather, and my mother were friends with them as well. So I got to see incredible women around me. And she's from the Westwood area, like yourself.
Oh,
awesome.
I didn't know that part. She shared an interesting story with us last week, but offline, about her motherhood journey. As a young doctor, sort of going through med school, getting pregnant, and some of the sacrifices that she's had to make. But let me talk about, before we even get to your guests, let's touch a little bit, because what I also think a lot of people are not aware, though you do share on social media, and I'm sure you're going to share even more on the platform now. A lot of people, with all respect to your son, obviously within parameters, and your children within parameters, a lot of people that don't know that you are a mom to little ones that, I don't know if it's one or both, that were diagnosed neurodivergent.
So all of us are neurodivergent in our household, because remember, it's genetic as well, which I think is so important to emphasize. So naturally, generally, if you are neurodivergent, you'll be, having children who are that way as well. And I think it's fantastic. You'll be shocked that a lot of people are actually walking around undiagnosed as well. And so because there's so much more information, instead of maybe calling in a kid that's all over the place and hyper and can't sit down, but it's brilliant at something, we now have a name for it, and that's the beauty. But I'm open about that, and the reason why I've always been that way is because I thought it was just important rather for parents to understand that they're not alone, and also to understand that the brain is different. We have incredible people. Most of Silicon Valley's, it's your neurodivergent people who can hyper-focus and do incredible things. Albert Einstein was neurodivergent, so Elon Musk is neurodivergent. So you have a whole group of people who just think differently and can do incredible things. But of course, with that comes challenges as well, and that's something that we also highlight. But to be honest, it's all children that have challenges. Yeah. And I just think it's important for us to have those honest conversations, and for kids not to feel judged but accepted, and for us to work around their gifts as well as their challenges. And that's why I wanted just to normalize it. So if there was any other parents, going through something similar, just that they felt that, oh wow, Nandi just came out about this, and and I love my kids. We have so much fun. It's it is what it is. It's mommy and daddy's genes. Awesome. Let's do this life thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's what's important. Yeah.
And I think even more important, for Black and brown parents to take away some of the stigma that comes with, not knowing the prognosis. And instead, we put labels on people in our community, but without actually knowing what the person's journey is. And the more you find Black and brown parents coming forth and sharing their stories, the more someone else out there becomes enlightened and also feels a sense of relief, because I feel like there's sometimes a sense of shame and burden that is carried by families, that's unintended.
Well said. You have to understand, we've had 400 years of being oppressed as a people, and people of color when I say that. And so we are on a journey of healing, and part of healing comes with just, becoming a better parent as well. You think about the mine worker system that separated our homes, where the man had to go to Johannesburg, and already those systems were intentional in breaking us down, and then the mother had to take on all this load as well. And so, when we know better, we do better, and that's why it's important to have such platforms as well, because even that parenting, you can sometimes unintentionally not even be aware that you're hurting your child, and that's why it's important for us to speak and have these conversations and forgive ourselves as well. Like I said, it's 400 years of just absolute brutality on black people in particular. And of course, so while as we parents, we also try to heal as well and reparent ourselves as well. And that also needs to be clear. So for us, it's a safe space to ensure that people are educated, they learn, they cry, they laugh as well. But for us to heal our community, you know, whether that looks like co-parenting, people who are married, divorced, widowed, whatever the case may be, but that they feel more empowered to be better parents and more particularly better mothers.
Absolutely. Now, getting into the platform, I think our whole conversation lays the groundwork for why this platform was so important for you to formalize and structure, because it's a continuation of your life lived and conversations that you've had publicly and privately.
Yes, absolutely. Sorry, you were breaking up there, but you're so right. In terms of the Motherhood Network, it was important for me to, just from having been a parent but also a public figure, I wanted to use my somewhat privilege and exposure, not only as a mother but to professionals as well and people with expert advice, to give a platform where a lot of people wouldn't necessarily have access to that information, if that makes sense. And what better way than have people like you're saying, Dr. Judy Masana, speak about her journey with motherhood, which I've been privileged to know a little bit more intimately, and then have people access it. Our first guest, as you said, is Sitsani Kumalo, who is incredible. She's an icon. And her journey through motherhood and, of course, having to protect her family in many ways. And so we have Dr. Nelly Balfour as well, who speaks about health. And so the list goes on and on, but it was just to ensure that people can feel a sense of comfort and belonging and feel a sense of being seen. You know, we also speak about the mother wound, which I don't think is something people discuss enough. Sometimes Mother's Day is a trigger for a lot of people in a negative light, because not everyone had the mother they needed, you know, and what does that look like and how does one heal from that? So we have such riveting and also meaningful and honest conversations,
Yeah, a very necessary platform, I think, this, especially for that intergenerational conversation, you know, where we just exchange ideas.
Yes, I love that. Exchanging of ideas amongst different generations as well. And it's putting a mirror in front of ourselves and saying, how can we best, you know, change our societies, change each generation. It was funny, just Dr. Judy Masana was saying something so interesting where she said, I love the fact that you're finding fathers now being okay with buying nappies.
Yeah.
You know, and that's okay, and that's so normal as in our generation, whereas, you know, the boomer generation is like, aye, and gang was, you know, oh no, I can't do that, you know, and you don't realize sometimes that there is such progress, because her saying that just made me realize, oh wow, actually, we have taken a step forward. And that's why such platforms are so important.
Absolutely. Well, listen, I can't wait to hear the conversations that unfold from this platform. You are live with it now because you've posted on social media, and you're good to go with the first couple of episodes for everyone to go and indulge.
Yes, this Sunday it starts. We're live this Sunday, but of course we had to do the promo.
Yes.
And a year's time from now, we'll be having one of the biggest mother events on Mother's Day for all the mothers to celebrate themselves, which I think is so precious and so beautiful. But it's a network you deserve.
I love it. Nandi, congratulations on the new venture.
Thank you.
And
Thank
can't
you so
wait
much.
to have you in studio. That was Nandi Madida, media personality and mother. And of course, this Sunday she launches that platform, the Motherhood Network, inviting all moms and even non-moms to come through to a non-judgmental space and have some honest, authentic conversations about this journey. It's just gone 2 o'clock. We're going to take a quick pause, and then we'll come back on the other side. We'll catch up with the folks from the National Arts Festival.
The Saints understand it's too late to change things around, but it's never too late to beat defending champions and bow with pride.
He chips the goalkeeper. It's an absolute beauty. It's an absolute beauty from Musa.
However, the citizens are forced to settle for a top 3 finish. They want nothing but 3 vital points.
Magnificent goal. Well, Phil Foden is still in a heap near the halfway line, but credit Andy Madley. He allowed City to continue.
This is the Premier League. Experience the superb battle between Southampton FC and Manchester City FC on Saturday 10 May at 3:30 p.m. Streaming live on SABC Plus and S3. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport. For the love of the game.
Hey Zama, have you submitted our employer reconciliation declaration?
Oh no, not yet. I thought I'd leave it for next week.
If we comply, it makes it easier for our employees to get accurate tax assessments. It will be even faster now that SARS has the new Easy File Employer version 8. Employers, make tax matters your priority number 1. Submit your annual employer reconciliation declaration by 31 May 2025. Your tax matters. So does your time. SARS, at your service.
Catch SAFTA award-winning cooking reality show The Tastemaster SA from Tuesday the 13th of May at 7:30. Watch as 10 talented contestants take on delicious challenges to impress celebrity chef Zola Nene along with special guest judges. Don't miss the season premiere, a heartfelt tribute to the incredible moms who inspire us all. That's Tuesday the 13th at 7:30 p.m. The Tastemaster SA, only on SABC2.
You are listening to The Full Circle.
It is the Full Circle with myself, Bridget Masinga, on SAFM. And we're catching up with the Artistic Director for the National Arts Festival, Rusera Sithal. Last time we spoke to you was last year at the National Arts Festival, and what a year it was. And in fact, we were chatting as you were building up to the 50th milestone. How are you doing? Have you caught your breath after all of that?
Hi, Bridget. Yeah, that was. It feels like it was so long ago, but also just past, just around the corner. So yeah, it was great to do the 50th year, and now we're ready for the 51st.
That's the thing. I would think, for someone in your position, along with your team, there's very little time for you to be able to just sit in the moment and soak it all in before you have to move on to planning for the upcoming year.
No, absolutely. I think I've lost your voice. I just want to check if you're there.
No, I'm still here.
Okay. I lost you for a second, but absolutely we do. I feel like it sometimes makes complete sense at the end of it all, when we can sit and kind of look back. But it is quite a ride. I mean, the festival experience is a totally immersive one. You arrive in Makanda and you're just surrounded by art and artists and excitement and too many options of things to do. So, yeah, it gets wild.
I like the too many options part. So as we begin the road to Makanda 2025, how are you feeling about this upcoming year? I mean, there's so much going on from a socio-political perspective domestically and internationally. And I wonder if events like this also to some degree shape the thinking around the programming for that year in order to reflect the times of the day.
Yeah, they certainly should, and I think they also, the experience of the festival should shape everyone who's part of it, artists and audience, in thinking and in responding to what's going on. And it has been a bewildering time these last few months, the last year, and absolutely, as putting together an arts festival, putting together the program, one can make a conscious decision to respond to what's going on, but in truth, that's what artists do, right? Artists are generally brave and confronting and reflective. So the work that's coming out is invariably all of that. At the same time, it's also looking for moments of joy and moments of escape. But it certainly has been a bit of a bewildering time, socially, globally.
I remember being at Makanda last year, and I can't recall who I was in conversation with, but we were talking about just the history of Makanda and how the physical space has often was at times disruptive to the systems of the time, and the status quo. Just going through that rich history of the protest theater, of the threats to the actual physical space, of the threats to some of the productions and writers and actors who presented work that was confronting the politics of South Africa. And I wonder if, an environment such as that can still be, held to present day, where theatre and theatre practitioners can still be very confrontational to the systems of the day.
Mm-hmm. Yes, the festival does have this rich history, especially in the 80s. It's a lot where the fringe grew, and more so present day in terms of artists responding to the current state of affairs within South Africa. Never mind politically, just your kind of everyday getting around, getting through your dailies. And I think artists, we're going to release the program in full on the 13th, Tuesday next week. But there definitely are artists who are responding to that, and I think this, in response, it's this energy of rebellion, of disruption, of asking difficult questions that we are seeing back at the festival, and it's very exciting. It's a bit of a, I want to say it's a bit of a returning to the roots, which is the festival, of course, 51 years old. It's had many chapters. Of course, starting off as it was initially a festival that was an ode to English culture. But now if you look at the program this year, there's works. We have multilingual works in theater. We have an array of different kinds of dance and performing works, lots of music, and through all of those formats, there is a returning to those kind of deep questions. I think now also, yes, very much confronted by what some of the one of my favorite words, discombobulating moments.
It's discombobulating, just the use of the word itself. What does it take to grow a festival like Makanda to the magnitude that it's grown, but also to keep it top of mind and relevant to not only domestic creators and appreciators, but also the international market? It's become quite the destination festival for people outside of South African borders.
I like the word grow, because that is what it takes. It's a slow and steady, and as you grow, so the festival and the artists inside the festival, the audience are also growing in response. And I think, I must say, the Fringe Festival has always been a space that attracts certainly kind of producers and programmers beyond your standard audience from South Africa, but also internationally. And this year, we really have, I think, this strong urban energy of what's really going on in the kind of undercurrents of performance and theatre in the major centres in Joburg, Cape Town, and Durban, because we're working with 3 collectives in the Fringe, Spark in the Dark, TX, and the 031 Collective. And I think that's really exciting for the festival. It's a kind of growth for us this year, and it's the kind of, I think, response to that interest from also certainly internationally. It does mean that when you're at the National Arts Festival, you can see works from around the country, of course. You'll see premieres, you see new works, and you also you have the possibility of catching or touching on that kind of very edgy urban energy of what's happening in those particular theatre spaces, theatre and performance spaces.
Yeah. Let's take a quick break here, and then we'll come back on the other side, and maybe I'll be able to convince you to share just one or two highlights from this year's calendar. Of course, we know that official rollout of the festival program is going to happen next week on the 13th of May. But who knows? I could be able to twist Rusera's arm a little bit to give us some highlights. It's just gone 10 to 2 o'clock on the Full Circle with myself, Bridget Masinga. Let's hit a quick pause, and then we'll be right back.
Amatats ladies and Tuhitwatla ladies are meeting for a tense battle. They are both in search of 3 crucial points. This is the Hollywood Bet Super League. Catch the spectacular action of Mzansi Women's Football, University of Pretoria Ladies FC versus Royal AM Ladies FC, the Sunday 11 May at 2:30 p.m. Streaming live on SABC Plus and SABC 1. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
For the love of the game.
SMS SAFM now on 41391. The Full Circle with Bridget Masinga, Monday to Friday, 1 to 3 p.m.
Alrighty, we are looking ahead at the National Arts Festival as they're about to release the festival's program for the calendar year 2025, and that full comprehensive program is going to be available next week, that big announcement. But we've just been reflecting on the last 51. We celebrated the 50th milestone last year. We headed off to Makanda as per usual, had us a good old time. I was so surprised by the weather in Makanda last year, because 2 years before then, the 2 years prior, the cold really caught me in ways that I was not prepared for. And then last year, I was so prepared for the cold, and Makanda was serving summertime. And I was just like, this is not the weather I signed up for. But it was still a good old time nonetheless. And we're catching up with the artistic director for the National Arts Festival, Rusera Sithil, joins us. And I don't know if I can, bend your arm a little bit. To give us just some between friends, some highlights of what's coming up in 2025.
Maybe for you, Bridget, I can be twisted just a bit.
I'll take whatever you can give me.
Well, I suppose every year we have the Standard Bank Young Artists who are announced, and they all produce new works, and it's really the rising stars of the South African art scene, and we have. In the theatre winner is Kelvin Rakladi, who some may know from TV, but he has a piece a theatre work called Breakfast with Mugabe, which I'm really looking forward to. It's a play by Fraser Grace, but it's looking into the mind of Mugabe, and it's on a broader perspective, one can understand as a kind of interrogation of a tyrannical leader, looking at what's behind some of that positioning, where's the humanity, and so it's definitely it's a story about a particular moment in African history, but it's also definitely a story that has global resonance right now. And from conversations with Kelvin, he has a very clear vision of how he's taking that forward. So I'm very excited. That will premiere at NAF, which we're excited about. Another work that's coming in from off our shores is Magic Maids, which is it's filled with wild woman energy. So that's I think I can relate to that. I'm looking forward to that. It's Jackson and Zanuri Pereira from the Philippines and Sri Lanka respectively. And they're looking at the kind of European witch hunt, but also linking it to the current industry of maids and domestic labor, but really letting loose and getting wild on stage. And for the few years we've been bringing a circus in, which is lovely because circus is so uplifting. The whole family can come, and it transports you into another place. And we have the company called The Cirque, who are bringing the work Mallow and the Moon Maiden, which I think is a beautiful title. And it's also, I think, connecting to where we are at present in the world. It's kind of set within within a scene of a faded circus, and we're looking at the love relationship and the kind of beauty and transformative possibilities of that.
Mm.
So I'll maybe tell you one more, which is Izi Tuku Tuku. It's a dance work by Pala Pala and Vusi Ndoi. And this one I'm also excited about because it's very percussive in that it's a work that's looking at labor in South Africa, from mining to typewriters, and bringing all these sounds and this energy. And again, very pertinent, right now we're in the midst of a transforming society with AI and with technology, and what's the future of work and labor, but a very uplifting, sonically, like, blow your mind out work with many dancers on stage. So yeah, that's my little peppered offering.
Well, listen, we will take it because I think that gives us just a glimpse of what we can expect from the festival this year. And I must admit, I'm really excited about the Calvin Ratladi work, Breakfast with Mugabe. We had Calvin on the day after that Standard Bank announcement was made. And the work just sounded really, really quite interrogative, intriguing, cheeky, and all of the great stuff. And looking forward to seeing how audiences respond to work like this. It's always interesting for me because, we have these conversations, and then my team and I will make our itinerary and go see some of these works. And some of them we're familiar with them because we've spoken to the creatives ahead of time. We've been invested. Some of them are foreign to us, and there's a sense of, well, let's just see what's happening off-site, And I'm always intrigued to know the audience receptions as well in Makhanda, especially to the lesser known artists. The folks who, because I think I learned this last year from your team, that there's also a significant number of work that gets presented in the festival that is not necessarily finished work. It's works that are there for exactly that, to be ironed out and to see how it engages with audience. And I think a lot of us didn't actually understand that element to the National Arts Festival too.
Yeah, no, that's really important to raise. And I think that this is why I think where the National Arts Festival, we have to remember, is so important in the arts landscape. Because it is this platform where, yes, there's these amazing performances, programs, music, but at the same time, it's also this ground for artists to come and test out new work and to see other artists' work. And it's really, in as much as it's a festival to come and see work, it's also a kind of working ground and trial ground, experimentation. And I think the experience of an audience member, I think when you come to Makhanda, so you make the journey, you come into the Eastern Cape, you have dislodged yourself from your home and your hometown, and it opens you up to the possibility of trying things out. And so, yes, some works are ready and fully produced, they're premieres or they've been touring, and some are artists who are also testing the ground. Whenever I go to shows, I have the bad habit of watching the work as well as the audience to definitely see who's in the room and how is everyone responding.
Yeah. Well, wonderful stuff. We will begin our countdown. As always, it's a pleasure. That was Rusera Sithel, Artistic Director for the National Arts Festival. And they are presenting this year's full festival programming come the 13th of May. So you don't want to miss that. And you can find all your information as well as booking information via their official website, nationalartsfestival.co.za.
Top stories. The Sawa Pope crew cries foul over Cameroon's remarks, and new Pope Leo XIV holds first mass with cardinals. Good afternoon, I'm Kolofelo Defo. The Police and Prisons Civil Rights Union Pope crew says it will approach the Parliament's Ethics Committee following the remarks of Chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Police, Ian Cameron. Cameron referred to a group of SAPS members as thugs following the acquittal of the 8 members of the SAPS VIP Protection Unit attached to Deputy President Paul Mashatile. Pope Crew President Tulani Ngwenya says they will not rest until the matter is addressed. He was speaking in Bloemfontein at the funeral of one of the 3 deceased constables, Linda Gabekulu.
That white boy who called himself the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee of the police, he called us thugs. How can thugs be chaired by a person who don't see value to the police? We will call for the Ethics Committee of Parliament because that individual abused the power, abused while we are mourning for 3 members of us who have left us. He doesn't talk about police that are killed. He doesn't talk about police that are murdered in Cape Town.
Meanwhile, the Deputy National Minister of Police, Dr. Polly Bushielo, says Constable Gabekulu Linda was considered a national asset even by President Cyril Ramaphosa. She says not everyone will receive the highest honor of their coffin being draped with the national flag. Speaking at the funeral service of the late Constable, Bushielo said an official funeral reflects Linda's sacrifices and commitment to his work. Bushielo has also urged society to stop being social media investigators. To Limpopo now, police say the remains of a man who had been given pauper's burial at Mokopong Cemetery has been positively identified and handed over to the bereaved family. In a statement, police say the body was identified through fingerprints and DNA analysis. The remains of a 32-year-old man who died in a car crash on the N1 near Mokopong in 2018 were buried in pauper's burial together with 40 other unknown bodies. Their bodies were buried in 2 graves without coffins in the past few weeks. The exhumation was conducted after a family from Mpumalanga approached local police and health authorities. Police spokesperson in the province is Malesela Ledwaba.
The members of Police Forensic Department and local police investigators formed part of the exhumation process, as they were the ones who approached the court to be permitted to do exhumation. Although it was difficult and demanding task, the corpse was eventually found amongst other unknown corpses, which were also buried as a pauper after the depressing exhumation process. The Provincial Commissioner of Police in Limpopo, Lieutenant General Tembi Hader, has directed that this unusual discovery be investigated further.
A suspect arrested in connection with the Guguletu shooting that claimed the lives of 4 people early last month is set to appear at the Athlone Magistrates Court later today. The victims were gunned down between NY3 and NY4 in the area. Police spokesperson Joseph Swartboy says officers identified the suspect during tracing operations and the arrest was made on Wednesday. Swartboy says more arrests are expected.
On the 7th of May 2025, one of the suspects was positively identified as a person of interest for the multiple murders perpetrated on the 4th of April 2025 in Guguletu. The suspect was apprehended after he appeared in court on an unrelated matter.
And finally, further afield, Pope Leo XIV is celebrating Mass with cardinals at the Vatican following his election yesterday. He is the first American to hold their position. He addressed the cardinals during his first homily as pontiff in English.
You have called me to carry that cross and to be blessed with that mission. And I know I can rely on each and every one of you to walk with me as we continue as a church, as a community of friends of Jesus, as believers, to announce the good news, to announce the gospel.
The top story this hour, the Police and Prisons Civil Rights Union, Pope Cruz, says it will approach the Parliament's Ethics Committee following the remarks of Chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Police, Ian Cameron. Headlines at 2:30 for SFM News. I'm Kolofelo Defo.
Full Circle with Bridget Masinga, Monday to Friday, 1 to 3 p.m.
It is the incomparable Saint Germain coming through with some of that lounge flavor right here, taking it back to iconic sounds. Sure Thing is the name of the song, bringing us to a 10 past 2 o'clock. We're going to hit a quick reset, and then when we come back, we're going to catch up with singer-songwriter Tsiri Mholu, who needs no introduction, multi-award-winning singer-songwriter and former leading lady of the group Malaika, and she's back on stage at the Basement Theatre in Rhodoport this Saturday, the 31st of May, rather. So we'll be catching up with her on the other side. It is The Full Circle with myself, Bridget Masinga on SAFM.
We all have dreams. Some people dream to be astronauts, while others want to yell, Vimba! as they chase that elusive shoplifter sprinting out and into Diamond Walk. Others might look at a broomstick and think to themselves that witchcraft might be the way to go. The possibilities are endless. But for Hollywood stars Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney, their dreams is to make it big in the English football leagues. Tune into Welcome to Wrexham as the duo aim to turn Wrexham AFC into an underdog story that the world can root for, bringing hope and change to the community. Welcome to Wrexham, Saturdays at 3 p.m. only on S3. Open up.
Amatax ladies and Tuhitwatla ladies are meeting for a tense battle. They are both in search of 3 crucial points. This is the Hollywood Bet Super League. Catch the spectacular action of Mzansi Women's Football, University of Pretoria Ladies FC versus Royal AM Ladies FC, the Sunday 11 May at 2:30 p.m. Streaming live on SABC Plus and SABC One. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport. For the love of the game.
Marawai, why is the boss of breaking down spreadsheets now on the side of the road breaking down in a broken down car? Marawai, why aren't you insured with Santam, the leading short-term insurer that gives you emergency roadside assistance and home drive services when you need them most? To switch, call 0860 444 or SMS cover to 36101. Santam. This is freedom. Santam is an authorized FSP, a licensed non-life insurer and controlling company for its group companies.
You are listening to The Full Circle.
can't help but dance, right? You can't help but dance whenever a Malaika song comes on. Destiny is the name of that particular one. And of course, heading up the vocals is Tsiri Mholo, singer-songwriter, award-winning, multi-award-winning. Let me put some respect on your name there, milady. How are you doing?
Bridget, I'm good. I'm good in this chilly weather while we are approaching winter.
Girl, where's the chilly weather? We're in Joburg together. There's no chilly weather in Joburg.
I guess maybe a lot of people are catching up on flu and yeah.
Yeah.
It's just bad. Yeah, it's just bad.
No, that it is. We're losing, one man every 10 minutes in this particular show today to the flu. But so we opened up with Malaika, and of course, we love the old catalog. We love the old music. It's so nostalgic for those of us who used to dance to you guys. But let me get the awkwardness of the group dynamics out of the way already. I know last time we sat and we had a conversation. You guys were going through a moment of evolution as individuals and as a group, and since then we've also seen some of those dynamics playing out in public arenas. Are you in a good space right now? Are you personally in a good space, and have you guys come to a resolve of the different ways that you're going to be going?
Unfortunately not. He's doing what he's doing, I'm doing what I'm doing. I've been replaced by some lady. And they are still continue calling themselves Malaika. Meanwhile, I'm still part of Malaika. I signed with Sony. I'm earning royalties, publishing. So I guess it's mainly for the performances.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't really know where they are, what are they busy with, and what are their future plans, because the last time we spoke, we agreed that they should change the name and create their own songs, because honestly, copyright infringement in South Africa is a problem. Yeah, so having someone singing your parts, your songs, your creation, your composition, for me, I felt it's a bit unfair, and I wish they are able to review and do things differently.
Absolutely. I think we can all understand, especially when it comes to the copyright element of it, if you've plowed into a project, by way of writing, composing, co-producing, you definitely also want the due respect, but also you want to be able to fairly earn from your work.
Exactly.
Would you be adverse, though, if we've seen how certain groups, have held on to the name, but have changed the structure and have created new work, but under that brand, and as time went on, other people came in and out of said group. Would you be opposed if they moved in that direction, where they say, okay, well, we'll do new stuff, but we'll keep the brand, so that we can actually have this thing that builds, and where people come in and out at different points in time, but the essence of the brand remains?
I honestly feel things won't be the same. You know what I mean? As much as, we might want to change the formula, it won't be the same. I mean, how everything started and the things that you planned together won't be the same as when you are starting something new, like bringing new members all together. And I was hoping that it will stay like that. So, unfortunately, we don't. This is the industry that is not properly regulated. So it's so difficult to even finding yourself having to argue and fight and try to contest certain things, and you end up just leaving things as they are, because you don't want to be viewed as bitter, as toxic, as whatever, because if he feels like he wants to do whatever that he wants to do, unfortunately Sony is not saying anything, Samra is not saying anything, Sampra is not saying anything. I'm just going to mention these collecting societies because I feel, 100% that they were supposed to be the ones, standing up for such issues. And we are not the only group that is actually going through all these things. If you can check, most of the groups that have got a female lead in South Africa, there is an issue.
Okay.
Yeah, there is an issue that is not being addressed, that is not being attended to, and others, they just choose to do themselves and not do anything or say anything regarding whatever that is happening. Clearly, there's a problem that I strongly believe should be well addressed, probably by the Minister of Arts and Culture.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
No, I appreciate you for sharing that. Let's take a quick pause, and then we'll come back and we'll look at the future. And what that looks like for you, and of course ahead of the show that's coming up on the 31st of May.
Dango, for the love of the game and Mzansi for sure.
Sekwenzenjani?
Soccer Zone has relocated to a new slot, 9 p.m. live every Monday on SABC 1. Mzansi Africa.
Fascinating goals.
The unbelievable saves.
From Africa Borwa to the entire African continent to the Bundesliga and the Premier League.
High-level reviews of crucial match scenarios by the legendary Mr. F.
Top-class analysis, latest news about the beautiful game.
And Momish of the Week.
SABC Sport Football Weekend ends on
Mondays at 9 p.m.
on Soccer Zone.
Live on SABC 1. Also available on SABC Plus and SABCSport.com. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
For the love of the game.
Save and win a car with Spar for real. Stand to win one of 50 fiery red Hyundai Grand i10 sedans. Buy any participating products and swipe your rewards card to enter. Get 8 kg Spar Wolf dog food for $159.99 plus 400 megs free data on Spar Mobile, or 700 grams Spar pre-packed cheese for $89.99 plus 200 megs free data on Spar Mobile. Price is valid until 19 May while stocks last. T's and C's apply.
Do you want an experience of a lifetime? Where every day is filled with challenges of providing Lisa Vanderpump curated experiences while dealing with rivalries, romances, and misadventures. It's drama at Vanderpump's French Estate. Chantel, Rosabelle, and the staff can't wait to give you a front row seat to all the drama. Catch Vanderpump Villa, Saturdays on S3 at 8:30 p.m. S3 open up. S3.
The Full Circle with Bridget Masinga, Monday to Friday, 1 to 3 p.m.
We are catching up with the multi-award winner singer-songwriter Tsidi Mholo, joins us now ahead of this show that's taking place at the Basement Theatre in Roodepoort come Saturday the 31st of May, closing off Africa Month and of course Mother's Day month, so it should be a treat. Looking forward to this because I think when you do things more and more so on your own now, it's also the unveiling of the new you and the new chapter. How are you feeling about this new journey ahead?
It's so exciting, hey? I mean, previously I've done shows without any sponsorships at Joburg Theatre, including Roodepoort Theatre, and the attendance was quite good. And for me, I feel there's a lot that one is able to empower themselves with. I'm able to decide and make, drastic decisions and hire people that I feel should be part of my growth. And also, it's so insightful. Like it gives you another glimpse of what the industry is all about. I'm not just an ordinary singer or songwriter. That there's a lot that I'm learning in the process. I might not be, the perfect producer or project manager, but I was able to put everything together.
Yeah.
So I'm really, really proud of myself for, standing up and saying, you know what, this industry it's evolving, especially for us as women in the music industry. We ought to take, all the energies, all the ideas, and get people to assist us the best way we can. So I'm really proud of myself, yeah.
And I think it also speaks to your willingness and openness to collaborate with other, whether it's fellow female musicians, whether it's other people in the industry who have the other skills that you require in order to be able to reimagine what brand CD looks like in the music industry.
Exactly. You know what? Currently, with the technical, lady at Roodepoort Theatre, there's a lot that we discuss, and I'm able to, learn so much from her. And I'm also bringing on board other female artists that I would definitely love to have, as part of my performance for the 31st of May at Roodepoort Theatre, to give them a platform to be heard, because there's many of us out there who are quite creative, who don't know much about the industry, and also get them on board and see that we are able to take, this industry to another level. It's not only about women being in the kitchen and doing this and that. Can we just learn to unite more?
Absolutely.
Remember, this is one patriarchal industry that we had to grow, within. And we are learning from the guys, how they manage to, stand together.
Yeah.
And support one another moving forward. So I would definitely love for other women to see themselves, putting ideas together, doing a lot of things, technical engineering, makeup,
the whole works.
Yes.
And tell me this, Tidi. I mean, I know that you grew up in the church. You grew up singing in your church choir before you went into secular music. Are we going to start seeing some of that that interaction between the different genres as well? Are you going to experiment with different sounds moving into the future?
Oh, I would love that. Honestly, I'm learning so much about myself, and there's a lot that I'm beginning to discover about myself. CD is one person who's quite fused, and currently I'm in studio with one guy from Democratic Republic of in Congo, and we are exploring another genre of music. And CD being this versatile artist, I'm willing to open up and do whatever that I feel is music, because music is quite broad. I don't want to find myself having to be subjected to one particular genre. Can we be allowed to be creative and do what we do best?
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Yeah, so church music, pop, rock, Zumba or Zouk, or there's quite a lot of Afro-pop. Please give me the stage. I just want to be on stage and do what do me.
Yes.
Do me. Yeah.
No, I love it. I love it because sometimes these moments really can present themselves as an opportunity and a blessing to do something completely different, and also more than that, to really do it and succeed at it. Where you may not have done it before because you were tied down to something. So 31st of May, you at the Basement Theatre in Roodepoort. Where do folks go to get the tickets?
The tickets are available at Web Ticket. If not online, they can also go to Pick and Pay, because it works with Pick and Pay as well.
Yeah.
And the show starts at 7 o'clock for 7:30. And there's a number of artists that I'm still talking to, but I know I'm bringing Vio Kulati on board to come and perform with me. I'm bringing Seka from VRC to also, render one of the songs that we did together. And there's other young up-and-coming producers from Soweto. People are just going to see a different me. I mean, people are used to seeing TD with Malaika or TD being in these long dresses and whatever. Guys, I can dance. They don't know really
I think everybody knows that you can dance. TD, thank you so much for the time this afternoon.
Thank you so much, Lisa. Thank you. I love you.
Love you too, Boo. 31st of May at the Basement Theatre in Roodepoort. Tickets are available at web tickets, and of course at Pick and Pay. That's where you can go to see what City has been up to. It's just gone 2:30. Time for us to get on with the news headlines, and then we'll come back on the other side and get into Nalibali.
Good afternoon, I'm Kulufelo Tefo. In the headlines, the SAWA International Relations Minister Ronald Lamola says that it is important to highlight the issues that women are facing when addressing pertinent matters in Africa. PopCrew says it will approach the Parliament's Ethics Committee following the remarks of Chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Police, Ian Cameron. And further afield, Ukraine says it's come under thousands of attacks from Russia since the Kremlin implemented a unilateral 3-day ceasefire on Wednesday night. Details at 3.
These are the weekend shows on SAFM. Music of Africa with Shayla Ndikumana. The Weekend View with Bongiwe Zwane. The Jet Set Breakfast with Michelle Constant. Seasons with Khomotso KG Mwekezi. The Soundtrack of Your Life with Ernest Pillay. Weekend Soundowner Classics with Kutlwano Masote. Spotlight with Zai Khan. The Weekend with John Kherika. Shifting Your Lens with Bertha Charuma. This is SAFM.
Welcome to Nalibali. Have you ever had homework to do but kept putting it off? Or maybe you started cleaning your room but got distracted and never finished? Completing your tasks on time is important because it helps you stay organized, responsible, and less stressed. When we finish what we need to do, whether it's schoolwork, chores, or a special project, we feel proud and have more time to enjoy playing and having fun. Good habits today help us become successful in the future. Today's story is called The Easter Escapade, written by Bradley Pulse. But before we listen to today's story, let's all get up and... Once upon a time, in the quiet littlest town of Karatara, which is just north of Sedgefield, there lived two young boys named Devalt and Toza. The boys were very proud of the success of their latest mission. They'd just completed a daring mission for Cupid. A group of crazy girls had stolen a batch of love potion for Cupid and they were planning on using it on their favorite boy band. But Devalt and Toza just found the potion and returned it to Cupid before the girls could cause trouble. The boys felt good about their new role as problem solvers for the magic creatures of the world. They were ready for anything.
Devalt, can you believe it? We helped Cupid. What's next? We'll be helping the Tooth Fairy?
Toza joked. Devalt laughed.
Well, you never know. But for now, I think we deserve a break.
Just as they were settling in for some well-earned rest, a new request came their way. This time from the Easter Bunny.
Devalt, can you believe it? The Easter Bunny needs our help.
Toza exclaimed. Holding a letter that had arrived with a basket of colorful eggs, Devalt's eyes sparkled with excitement.
What's the problem, Toza?
The Easter Bunny says someone has stolen the eggs for the Easter egg hunt. He needs us to find them before the big day.
Toza read aloud. Determined to help, the boys grabbed their gear and set off to the Easter Bunny's secret home in the forest. They found the Easter Bunny pacing back and forth, his long ears dropping with worry.
Oh, thank goodness you're here.
The Easter Bunny said,
A big batch of my eggs for the hunt have disappeared, and without them, Easter will be a complete disaster.
We'll find your eggs, Easter Bunny. Just show us where you last saw them.
Devalt said confidently. The Easter Bunny led them to a clearing where the eggs had been hidden. As they were investigating, they heard a rustling sound behind some bushes. Out popped a flustered farmer.
Hey boys, have you perhaps seen my chickens? They've gone missing and I can't find them anywhere.
The farmer said, looking worried. Devalt and Toza exchanged glances.
Missing chickens and missing eggs? That's too much of a coincidence.
Toza said,
We'll help you find your chickens.
Devalt said to the farmer. The boys, the farmer, and the Easter egg bunny continued their search together. They followed a trail of colorful pieces of egg through the forest. Then they saw something very strange, a big pool of melted chocolate. In the middle of the chocolate pool sat the farmer's chickens. They were stuck and clucked miserably.
What in the world happened here?
Toza exclaimed. The Easter bunny's eyes widened.
Oh, I know.
She said,
The chickens must have thought my chocolate eggs were their own eggs. They probably tried to sit on them to keep them warm, but the eggs melted, and now the chickens are stuck.
After a good laugh, the boys, the Easter bunny, and the farmer set to work freeing the chickens from the sticky chocolate. It was a messy job, but soon the chickens were hopping around happily.
Oh, thank you very much, boys.
The farmer said, shaking their hands.
I don't know what I'd do without my chickens.
The Easter bunny smiled gratefully.
And thank you for saving a few of my eggs, even if they are a bit melted.
Devalt grinned.
No problem, Easter bunny. But what are we going to do about the Easter egg hunt? We can't have an egg hunt without more eggs.
Toza's eyes lit up.
Why don't we make new chocolate eggs? We've got some time before Easter.
The Easter bunny's face brightened.
That's a splendid idea! And with your help, we'll have plenty of eggs ready in no time.
So the boys, the Easter bunny, and the farmer set up a makeshift chocolate factory right there in the forest. They melted chocolate, shaped it into eggs, and decorated them with colorful patterns. The chickens even helped by keeping an eye on the drying chocolate. After long hours of hard work, they had a huge pile of beautiful chocolate eggs ready for the Easter egg hunt. The Easter bunny was overjoyed.
You have helped me save Easter,
she said, handing everyone a basket of eggs as a reward.
I can't thank you enough.
Devalt and Toza beamed with pride.
It was our pleasure, Easter bunny. We are just glad that we could help.
Devalt said. As they headed back to town, Devalt and Toza couldn't stop grinning. They had solved the mystery, saved the chickens, and helped the Easter bunny all in one day.
What's next for us, Toza?
Devalt asked, looking forward to their next adventure. Toza chuckled.
Who knows, but whatever it is, we'll be ready.
And so the two young heroes of Karatara returned home, ready for their next adventure. And so we come to the end of another Nali Bali story time. Today's story was called The Easter Eggscapade, written by Bradley Powles. Did you know that reading and telling stories to children at home can help them do better at school? If you want free stories to read to your children or for your children to enjoy on their own, visit the Nali Bali website www.nalibali.org or Mobi site www.nalibali.mobi. You will find stories in 11 South African languages, as well as tips for reading and sharing stories with your children to grow their potential. Also look out for the bilingual Nali Bali Reading for Enjoyment supplement with great children's stories and activities, available in newspapers. Nali Bali, it starts with a story.
We all have dreams. Some people dream to be astronauts, while others want to yell, Vimba! As they chase that elusive shoplifter sprinting out and into Diamond Walk. Others might look at a broomstick and think to themselves that witchcraft might be the way to go. The possibilities are endless. But for Hollywood stars Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney, their dreams is to make it big in the English football leagues. Tune into Welcome to Wrexham as the duo aim to turn Wrexham AFC into an underdog story that the world can root for, bringing hope and change to the community. Welcome to Wrexham, Saturdays at 3 p.m. only on S3. Open up.
The Saints understand it's too late to change things around, but it's never too late to beat defending champions and bow with pride.
He chips the goalkeeper! It's an absolute beauty! It's an absolute beauty from Musa.
However, the citizens are forced to settle for a top 3 finish. They want nothing but 3 vital points.
Absolutely magnificent goal. Well, Phil Foden is still in a heap near the halfway line, but credit Andy Madley, he allowed City to continue.
This is the Premier League. Experience the superb battle between Southampton FC and Manchester City FC on Saturday 10 May at 3:30 p.m. Streaming live on SABC Plus and S3. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
For the love of the game.
Ashraf Garda on SAFM.
People mobilize in a way outside of party politics, as they have done around, let's say, the UDF, for example, that the politicians of the day today won't allow it. It is against their vested interest to see mass mobilization of civil society.
Why do we need the permission of politicians? We are not married to these politicians. They are there to serve us. It's public taxpayers' money that pays them. And it's taxpayers' money that creates the economic infrastructure that make businesses succeed. So business leaders can't go and claim that they on their own made their billions. This is the thing, the irony of it. At the end of the day, we all contribute with the road infrastructure, the education infrastructure, the health infrastructure. This is taxpayers' money.
Jay Naidu, former part of the Mandela era leadership of the country.
The National Pulse, weekdays 3 to 6 p.m. Find the podcast at safm.co.za. If you're active on social media and love SAFM, we hope you'll take a moment to like or follow our SAFM page on Facebook and Twitter. These are the best places to find all the guest information, conversations, and stories you love from your favorite presenters, along with regular updates from SABC News. And don't forget, you can send your questions to feedback@safm.co.za. SAFM, leading the conversation. Bridget Masinga, weekdays on The Full Circle.
All right, as we wrap up the show, we thought we'd catch up with creative Muafrika Womakhati, who is a Mamelodi-born, multifaceted South African poet, a performer, an African indigenous languages activist, a cultural curator, producer, all things really under the creative banner. and we thought we'd get to know her a little bit better. How are you doing this afternoon?
I'm alright. Thanks for yourself, Bridget.
I'm awesome. Thank you so much. Cannot complain. Okay,
Great.
I mean, let's begin with your pen name, Muafrika wa Mokhati. Give us, those of us who are lost in translation, some background and significance for this particular moniker.
Naming, it's I have learned recently that names are quite important.
Yes.
But many moons ago, I was, as a young inquisitive person and wanting to understand why they gave me a particular name, which is Muriel, and I've learned that it's an Irish name, and that was the only, legal name that I was given. And I requested a name, and my mom was like, "But Africa, what more do you want?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, I'll take that." So Muafrika, it's I guess my requested name, and Mokhati is just me honoring my grandfather Mokhati, who has raised me. So Muafrika wa Mokhati. It has become my pen name, and I embrace. I respond more to that than the name that I sign for at the bank.
the name on the documentation. And really, there's this interesting conversation. We've had conversations on the show around the significance of names and how we come about names. Personally, I believe, though I have an English name, I do have a vernacular name as well. I believe that names hold intention, right? They hold intention for you, for your ancestors, for your future. And I wonder for you, when was this request made of your mother? When was the challenge presented to her around the name? And what was the moment? I don't want to say the conscientizing moment, but what was the moment for you that had you thinking that perhaps I want to reclaim a particular identity?
So I'm of the Bapedi tribe. So there are certain names. Let me make an example, like Mokhadi. Kasta Siminya,
yes.
Her middle name is Mokhadi. So there's a praise that comes with the name. So it's about Mokhadi Motepaulema Ojao Palaleva Shumi. So I wanted such a name, that comes with a little poem, Yana. But I was like, well, I got this Irish name and I don't have any middle name. And for me, that was the realization of the power of names, and also exploring poetry, understanding clan names, understanding totems, and the power that a name holds. When one recites clan names and you hear particular names re-emphasized, sharing one's lineage. And I was fascinated by all of that. And this was 24 years ago when I wanted to, or when the bug, held me stronger for me to explore writing and writing, rather writing and performing.
Makes perfect sense to me. I just want to get this commercial out of the way, and then we'll come back on the other side and continue getting to know Muafrika wa Mokhati better.
It takes a while before these arch rivals meet in the final. But when they do, everything stops. Nabi is confident to delight the Amakotsi fans.
If the fans love Kaiser Chiefs, automatically is love Nabi.
While the back-to-back victor, Rivero, chases the third consecutive title.
Whenever it's time to go, we're going with the intention to be competitive, to try to be better than the opponent.
This is the Nedbank Cup final. Yona, Yarona. Witness the Soweto Derby. Gold and Black battles it out with Black and White on Saturday, 10 May at 2:30 p.m. Streaming live on SABC Plus and SABC One. Then on SABC radio stations at 3:30 p.m. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
For the love of the game.
Catch SAFTA award-winning cooking reality show The Tastemaster SA from Tuesday the 13th of May at 7:30. Watch as 10 talented contestants take on delicious challenges to impress celebrity chef Zola Nene, along with special guest judges. Don't miss the season premiere, a heartfelt tribute to the incredible moms who inspire us all. That's Tuesday the 13th at 7:30 p.m. The Tastemaster SA, only on SABC2.
I'm Michelle Constant. Join the JSB crew and I every Saturday and Sunday morning between 7 and 10 a.m. We promise to keep you informed and entertained with innovation, culture, cars, travel, life learnings, environment, and of course, your big fat juicy. Small stories, big ideas, massive inspiration. The Jet Set Breakfast on SAFM.
You're listening to Bridget Masinga on SAFM.
And so we're having this conversation with my tech producers now around my names, because yes, people have a vernacular name. I have an indigenous African name which holds great meaning for myself, and I also appreciate my very Irish name as well, which also speaks to who I am as a person. But we'll have that conversation on a different day. Muafrika Wamakati is joining us now. Poet, performer, African Indigenous languages activist and cultural curator. Getting to know her better. You authored My Tongue is a Rainbow, which debuted and launched in Washington around about 2019, just before COVID, if I'm not mistaken. And already the title of that particular works is quite gripping. Let's unpack some of the contents of the pages as well.
Sure. My Tongue is a Rainbow, I guess, also stems from South Africa being the Rainbow Nation and having 11 languages at the time. For me, the rainbow was a metaphor to the expression of freedom in South Africa, that it can also be expressed in many strokes of color of our rainbow. Whether freedom is freedom, no matter your language.
Your career, it reads like quite the creative, illustrious journey. Mail and Guardian 200 Young South African Alumni for 2020, alumni of the Young African Leadership Initiative, co-curator of the Nobel Peace Prize Week in Sweden. You've done so much, both from the creative as well as the academia of creative sectors. And the conversation oftentimes when one sits with young poets is how to begin to recognize the diversity that spoken and written word can give one in order to have a sustained career within creativity, but also on the fringes of creativity. What did you say to young poets and young writers out there who are looking to chart paths that are similar to your own?
I would say my journey could never be like any other. The secret is for the creative to find ways of ushering their trajectory. In South Africa, one becomes a pioneer of many things because of we are catching up to the rest of the world. When I think of creative writers retreat, there are quite a few. Then it means that I'll have to start one. If I'm thinking of a think tank or creative hub for creative writers, there's none. So one always becomes the pioneer, and somehow that has led to the many, projects that I have started, that I have left, running because of I understand the power of just creating systems and starting because of one really, hopes for a lucrative industry in South Africa. I'm using that term quite loosely, but particularly within the literature space. To concretize, an industry that I would like to see, or that I have experienced in New York, where you find, writers who are workshopping and that workshopping creative writing, that part of the curriculum. Now, how do I navigate or introduce such programs in South Africa, and still be a creative and not be pushed to become an arts administrator? Yeah, quite often you find yourself on the borderline of, do I write a poem or do I write a proposal for a project? That would benefit many other creatives. But so it has been quite an interesting journey. But what I would say to a young person is, do you what makes sense to you, and believe that what you have to contribute is important. Everyone's voice is important. You just have to believe that your contribution is worth being mentioned in a room. But one's journey is different. It's about also borrowing, trajectory routes, if that works for you. Are you for stage? Unfortunately, in South Africa, one tends to become an arts administrator because of those reasons that I've mentioned. That one helps, with the building blocks of an industry that we would like to have. But it's a fascinating space to be in. But young people that I engage with, I just borrow from others' roots and say, so and so have done this, so and so have done this. They have become copywriters. They have explored poetry, theaters. They have all of those platforms. Another forms of publishing. One have done film, one have done audiovisual works. Where else do you see fit for you to explore? And it's a very individual space for one to explore. But I can never, and I'm saying this because of it is exactly that. It's not cutthroat, or it's not a clean cut that once you get to this particular space, then here's the better space. One needs to explore all the time. We find musicians who are not really confined within one genre, but they explore others. And maybe that is me ushering those who are exploring themselves creatively through literature to tap into such spaces that do not just focus on stage, but you can focus on other avenues. Might be a good lecture. Why not explore that? Yeah,
absolutely. In our final moments, just to touch a little bit as well on the influence of your grandfather as well as your uncle on your particular style of writing, which has now become a signature of yours in some ways. More Africa?
With the 11 languages. Yeah, I'm still here.
Oh, okay. There we are. We
Hello?
lost you. Yes, we lost you for a second. Sorry, you were saying.
I was saying that, I grew up in Mamelodi, called multicultural space. And for me, to preserve the Sepedi language after having learned that it is on a decline, one of the ways of preserving was to code mix and code switch, and luckily I was exposed to these two languages, Sepedi and English, influenced by my uncle and my grandfather. And that has somehow helped me find tools to preserve a language that is dying out. And I'm glad that I had. It's like having two parents coming from polar opposite, but you respect and love them somehow equally, if you like. And this is the languages that I feel comfortable in. As much as I'm South African and speak all the languages, I'm starting to learn how to sign now. But it's me being intentional in preserving a language that is dying out.
Absolutely. We appreciate the time with you this afternoon. That was Mu Afrika wa Mokgeti, and that is where we leave it from our end. Ashraf Gada and the team are standing by to bring you the national pulse. We will see you on Monday. Have an incredible weekend further. Inshallah, God willing, we do it again.
top stories, the Sawa Lamola highlights issues facing women on the continent, and Judge Chidada recuses himself from social media influencer trial. Good afternoon, I'm Kolofelo Defo. International Relations Minister Ronald Lamola says that it is important to highlight the issues that women are facing when addressing pertinent matters in Africa. He says that women and children bear the brunt of conflicts as most of them get displaced. Lamola was the keynote speaker in Pretoria at a conference on women, peace